Hey guys, good morning. Welcome back to our channel, the Eaton Squad. So on today's update is the latest news if you're planning to land in Mactan Cebu International Airport. Details coming right up. So before anything else, I'd like to greet all the moms in the world a happy Mother's Day. To my mom and to my mother-in-law, happy Mother's Day. So there is a new update if you guys are planning on landing in Cebu. I know there are a bunch of travelers that are avoiding to land in Manila and in Clark International Airport because of the new mandate from the IATF making the 7 days quarantine to 10 days quarantine now. This was posted last May 7 of 2021. So if you guys are traveling to the Philippines and landing in Manila airports and Clark International airports, you now have to undergo 10 days quarantine in a facility or hotel that is approved by the DOH. Now let's talk about Cebu, because when Manila and Clark was still on the 7 days quarantine, Cebu has a different quarantine protocol. They only require 2 to 3 days quarantine when you arrived in Cebu. This is for non-resident or Cebu resident, non-OFW and OFWs. But this has changed starting May 8 of 2021. So if you guys are flying to the Philippines starting May 8 and beyond, this is the new rule at Mactan Cebu International Airport when you land there. I have actually read real experience of our kababayans who were landing in Cebu and only expecting 2 to 3 days quarantine, but they are not a resident of Cebu. Unfortunately, they now have to undergo 10 days quarantine. So the new rule when you land in Mactan Cebu International Airport, if you are a non-resident, please take note, non-resident, if you are just landing in Cebu and your final destination is in Bohol, or in Davao, or in General Santos City, you will have to undergo 10 days quarantine now. The 2 to 3 days quarantine now is only for residents in Cebu and neighboring cities of Cebu. I mean within Cebu province. If you are not a resident of Cebu and within Cebu province, you will have to undergo 10 days quarantine. What will happen is you will be swabbed upon arriving in Mactan Cebu International Airport. You have to spend 10 days in a hotel for quarantine, and on the 7th day, you will be re-swabbed again before you are clear to go home. This is if you are a non-resident of Cebu. I know everybody is trying to avoid Manila, trying to avoid Clark International Airport, and rebooking their flights, rerouting it to Cebu to avoid the 10 days mandatory quarantine. Unfortunately, regardless of that, if you don't live in Cebu or if you are not a resident of Cebu, you will now have to undergo 10 days mandatory quarantine, plus you will be swabbed 2 times if you land in Cebu for non-residents. So I hope we are clear on that. For residents of Cebu and neighboring cities within Cebu province, your quarantine will only be 2 to 3 days, and after your negative results are in, you will be sent home. This is for residents of Cebu. So unfortunately, this is bad news again to all travelers and to all our kababayans who still plan on going to the Philippines during the time of the pandemic. Looks like all airports now, Manila, Clark, Cebu, is imposing the mandatory 10 days quarantine in a hotel and swab testing. In Manila, you will be swabbed on the 7th day after you arrived in the Philippines. In Cebu, you will be swabbed upon arrival, and you will be re-swabbed again on the 7th day after you arrive in Mactan Cebu International Airport. This is for non-resident only. If you are a resident of Cebu, you will only have to spend 2 to 3 days in the hotel. And if your swab test result turns out negative, you will be sent home. So please take note, all our kababayans who still are planning to go home to the Philippines, this is the latest news on quarantine protocols to the Philippines. They now impose mandatory 10 days quarantine in a hotel or facility. If you are a non-OFW, you will have to shoulder all the expenses, the 10 days quarantine hotel, the swab testing, your food, accommodation, transportation, and all that stuff. OFW, this will still be shouldered by OWA. So please, if you still have plans to go home to the Philippines, these are the expenses that you will be spending when you go home this time. So the question is, if you are a non-resident of Cebu and you have already pre-booked the hotel for 2 to 3 days because you are landing in Mactan Cebu International Airport, then you will have to extend this for 10 days as advised by the hotel you are staying in. You have probably received an email on the new protocol for Mactan Cebu International Airport, non-residents only. So make sure to check your email for hotel booking. Make sure to check your email on your flight status and all that stuff if you guys are landing in Mactan Cebu International Airport, because these are the changes when it comes to quarantine protocol. And I will definitely keep you guys posted if there's any changes again on this new quarantine protocol if you travel to the Philippines during the time of the pandemic. This is our travel update for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family whom you know that can use this video as reference. If you are new to our channel, welcome. We do travel updates, and if you are not a subscriber yet, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you will be notified on updates like this. And to our subscribers and new subscribers, thank you so much for the continued support and trust to our channel, the Eaton Squad. I hope to see you guys on our next travel update. Stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless everyone. Bye.